Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining today's training. I am recording it so that way I can post it later this week to our NYESS YouTube channel. If anybody needs to go back and watch it again for any CEU credits, or you have any coworkers that weren't able to make it to today's training, you can go ahead and watch it at a later date for the two CEU credit hour trainings. Again, for those who don't know me, my name is Denise Luzak, and I work for the Office of Mental Health in Albany, our central office. I am a mental health program specialist too for the New York Employment Services System, otherwise known as the NYESS unit. Okay, and then also I don't, just because of the internal WebEx issues that I'm having, I don't have the ability to mute anyone. So if you are off mute, if you want to go ahead and just mute yourself, just so it doesn't interfere with any training slides that I'm going through. And then additionally, this slides that I'm using for this presentation will be mailed out to everyone that I have here on the WebEx registration list. Okay, so now that those few housekeeping pieces are said, today we're going to talk about a range of work incentives and financial support programs designed to help individuals with disabilities explore employment while maintaining important benefits such as SSI and Medicaid. And the goal of today's session is really just to provide an overview of these programs, as well as explain how they work, maybe highlight some resources that can help individuals make informed decisions about work and financial planning. Okay, so let me get started here. Just find my mouse. Okay. Okay, so today's agenda, we're going to be covering, like I said, several work incentives and saving programs that do support individuals with disabilities who want to work while maintaining important benefits. We're going to begin with SSI and Medicaid work incentives, including 1619B, earnings limits, and work-related deductions, such as IRWIs and BWIs. These work incentives can help individuals continue receiving their important benefits while earning income from employment. Next, we're going to discuss the Medicaid buy-in for working people with disabilities. And this program, as you know, provides another option for individuals to maintain health coverage while working. We'll then move on into some financial independence tools, including the New York ABLE accounts. We'll discuss how they work, the rules for savings and using funds. And then after that, we're going to focus on PASS plans. And as you know, they allow individuals to set aside income and resources to achieve specific employment goals. We're also going to review some examples on how PASS plans work in practice. And then lastly, we're going to end just by reviewing some resources and support options that are available to help individuals find more information and assistance. And hold on, my mouse seems to have frozen. Just one moment. That is weird. Okay, sorry about that, guys. All right, so today's the two objectives. So after attending this presentation, participants will be able to identify key Social Security and New York State work incentives, including provisions, any Medicaid protection, ABLE accounts, and PASS plans. Participants will be able to explain how these programs help individuals with disabilities maintain benefits while increasing employment and financial independence. Okay, Medicaid 1619B. So today we're going to discuss several important work incentives and savings programs that help individuals with disabilities pursue employment while increasing financial independence. So I'm going to begin with one of the most important protections for people who receive SSI, and that is Medicaid 1619B. 1619B allows individuals to keep their Medicaid coverage even when their earnings are too high to continue receiving SSI cash benefits. So what this means is that starting work does not automatically mean losing important health care coverage. And with this 1619B program, we're going to review who may qualify and the requirements individuals must meet to continue receiving Medicaid, while working. Okay, a common concern for many SSI recipients is the possibility of losing Medicaid coverage when they begin working. 1619B helps eligible individuals keep their Medicaid coverage even if their SSI cash payments stop because of their increased earnings. And to qualify for 1619B, an individual must have received a SSI cash payment for at least 1 month, as well as continue to meet Social Security disabilities requirements, continue to meet all other SSI eligibility rules, and except for the income requirement. Need Medicaid coverage to continue working, have earnings that are not high enough to replace the value of SSI, Medicaid, and any other publicly funded attendant care services. So the key point here with the 1619B program is that starting work does not automatically mean losing Medicaid coverage. 1619B provides continued Medicaid protection for eligible individuals who simply are increasing their earnings through employment. Um, 1619B allows some SSI beneficiaries to keep their Medicaid coverage even when their earnings are high enough that they no longer receive an SSI cash payment. In Social Security, they use a state-specific earnings threshold to determine whether a person's earnings are too high to continue receiving the 1619B protection. This threshold that is used, it's based on the amount of earnings that causes SSI payments to stop and the average cost of Medicaid coverage in that state specifically. So if an individual's earnings are higher than the state threshold, Social Security may look at an individualized threshold. And this calculation may consider certain work-related or medical expenses that increase the cost of maintaining employment. Okay. Some individuals have disability-related expenses that they must pay in order to continue to work or to begin working. These expenses are called impairment-related work expenses, or IRWEs. Some examples of IRWEs may include items such as a wheelchair, specialized transportation, any work-related equipment needed because of a disability. In Social Security, what they may do is deduct approved IRWEs from earnings when evaluating work activity and calculating the SSI payments. So the important thing here to remember is that IRWs can reduce countable income, which may help individuals maintain their benefits while they are working. Okay, blind work expenses. So for SSI recipients who are blind, certain work-related expenses can be excluded from earned income when determining SSI eligibility and payment amounts. And these expenses are called blind work expenses, BWEs. So unlike IRWs, BWEs do not have to be related to a person's blindness. Some examples may include income taxes, maybe meals purchased during work hours, transportation costs, and guide dog expenses. And one of the important points to remember is that BWEs can help individuals keep more of their SSI payments while working by reducing the amount of income that is counted by SSI. Any questions or comments on IRWs or BWEs before I move on to PASS plans? Okay, I'm going to move on, and then just remember, if for anyone who joined after I started, I lose track of the chat with our internal WebEx issue that's going on. So please just feel free at any point to go ahead and unmute yourselves. Okay. So a plan to achieve self-support or PASS, this is a written plan that allows an individual to set aside income or resources other than SSI for a specific period of time to help achieve a work goal. And in order to qualify, a PASS must be in writing. It also include the income or resources that will be set aside. Identify a specific and realistic work goal. Additionally, it must include a time frame for achieving that goal, as well as list any expenses needed to reach the work goal. And for a PASS plan, one of the important things to remember is that a PASS allows individuals to be able to set aside money for employment goals. And without those funds counting towards SSI eligibility, helping them work towards greater independence. Okay, so continuing Medicaid while working. 1619B allows individuals to keep their Medicaid coverage even when their earnings are too high to continue receiving cash benefits. It applies to individuals who have previously received SSI and would still qualify for SSI if not for their earnings and continue to meet all other of the SSI requirements, including the resource limits. As well, they must also need Medicaid coverage to continue working and have earnings that are not high enough to replace the value of SSI and Medicaid benefits. And so the important thing to remember with 1619B, it helps eligible individuals increase their earnings while at the same time maintaining access to essential health care coverage. Okay, eligibility for 1619B is usually automatic as long as the individual continues to report their earnings to Social Security each month. Individuals can also contact Social Security directly if they need to confirm their status or provide any additional information. I have the link listed right here, but there's also template letters online that can assist with this process. And there is a gross earned income limit used to determine eligibility. And for this year, 2026, the limit is approximately $68,654. But again, that amount is subject to change each year, and it usually does. See, the SSI resource limit of $2,000 still applies. And individuals who want to save money while working may also consider options such as ABLE accounts or PASS plans. And then additionally, one other important point to remember is that 1619B helps eligible individuals be able to continue working while protecting their access to Medicaid coverage. Okay, on the next slide, this is just a picture or a screenshot taken of the threshold amounts for 2026. Right here, as you can see, it has the base amount, Medicaid, the threshold. Okay, Medicaid buy-in for working people with disabilities, MBI-WBD. Okay, I'm just going to pause for a moment and see if anyone has add before I move forward. Okay, let's see. All right. The Medicaid buy-in program, for working people with disabilities, or MBI-WPD, provides Medicaid coverage for individuals with disabilities who are working and have income that is too high to qualify for regular Medicaid. This program also allows individuals to keep their health care coverage while working and earning more than the standard Medicaid income limits. Additional information about the MBI-WPD is available through the MBI Toolkit, which I have also linked on this slide right here. And then one of the important points to remember is that MBI-WPD gives working individuals with disabilities another option for maintaining access to Medicaid coverage. Okay, so the Medicaid buy-in program for working people with disabilities allows individuals with disabilities to maintain Medicaid coverage while working and earning more than the traditional Medicaid income limits. One of the important features of this program is that there's no cost to participate and there's no monthly premiums. And with this program, the income limits are much higher than the standard Medicaid, allowing individuals to earn up to $80,820 per year, or $109,236 for a couple. And also this program has a higher resource limit than SSI and regular Medicaid, which it makes it easier for individuals to save money while working. However, non-exempt resources must remain still within the program's allowed limits. So for individuals who want more details on the Medicaid buy-in toolkit, there's the step-by-step information for examples for it that I've put in the end of this presentation under the resource slides. And then the important thing to remember with MBI-WPD is it helps individuals with disability work while increasing their income and maintaining access to health care coverage. Okay, and this slide right here is just showing you the income eligibility worksheet, just examples of Are You Ready? This is taken exactly from the site. Again, just a screenshot picture of it, but I have the link to it right underneath. Okay. All right, so disability determination. The Social Security Administration is responsible for determining eligibility for both SSI and SSDI and SSI programs. If an individual has already been found disabled by SSA, that disability determination can be used as proof of disability for the Medicaid buy-in program for working people with disabilities. And if an individual has not been determined disabled by SSA, they'll just need to complete a disability review through the New York State Disability Review Team. Local social services staff can also help individuals to understand the process, as well as provide guidance and explain the steps needed to apply. And then the important point to remember is that individuals must meet the disability requirements to qualify for MBI WPD, but there are different ways to provide proof of disability. Okay. So individuals who are working and currently receiving Medicaid through a monthly spend down may be able to enroll in the Medicaid buy-in program for working people with disabilities if they meet SSA's definition of disability. One important difference is that MBI WPD does not have a spend down requirement. And depending on an individual's income, a monthly premium may apply. However, premiums are currently not being charged. This program can make Medicaid eligibility easier to manage and provide more stable health coverage for individuals who are working. An important key takeaway here is to remember that MBI WPD may provide a more work-friendly Medicaid option for those individuals who currently rely on a spend down. Okay. So whether an individual pays a premium for MBI WPD coverage depends on their income level. Individuals with higher incomes may have a monthly premium, which is determined during the application process. Currently, though, there is a freeze on premiums, so individuals are not being charged a monthly amount at this time. Okay, health insurance through employer. So if an individual has health insurance through their employer, it is recommended that they keep that coverage and talk with their local social service worker to understand how it does work with Medicaid. In some cases, Medicaid may help pay for the costs of the employer-sponsored health insurance premium. And if an employer offers family coverage, it may also be beneficial to keep that coverage because the Medicaid buy-in program does not provide coverage for family members. Yeah. Oh, someone's off mute. If you're able to just mute yourself. Okay, and so one of the important things to remember is that keeping employer-sponsored insurance when available, it may help individuals and families maintain the most complete and cost-effective health coverage. Okay, so the MBI WPD program covers individuals who are single or married, covers individuals who are single, or covers married couples, as long as they are working and meet the disability requirements. If a spouse does not have a disability, or if there are children in the household, those family members may need to look at other health insurance options through New York State, such as the program as Child Health Plus. And then one thing to remember also with MBI WPD, this program does provide coverage for eligible working individuals with disabilities. However, while other family members may need separate health coverage options. Okay, and this slide you're looking at right here, it just again has the link to the New York State local Department of Social Services to get an application for the MBI WPD program. Again, these links will all be live when I do send out this PowerPoint. Oops, and then I'm just going to take a minute, just if everybody could just take a look, as I did lose the option to mute people. I just am picking up on some background noise. Just want to make sure everyone can hear. Okay, all right. So if an individual receiving SSI earns enough income that their SSI cash payments stop, they still may be able to keep their Medicaid coverage through a federal work incentive called 1619B. In 2026 in New York State, a working individual with a disability may earn up to approximately $68,654 and continue to qualify for Medicaid under 1619B. And then this amount may change every year. And if an individual's earnings exceed the state threshold, they still may qualify through an individualized threshold. Social Security can actually calculate a higher threshold when certain expenses are considered, such as IRWs, any BWs, a PASS plan, any publicly funded attendant care, or medical expenses that are higher than the state average. And let me just grab my mouse. Okay. And then also it's important to remember here that 1619B can allow eligible individuals to continue working and earn higher wages while maintaining access to their Medicaid coverage. Okay. All right, so now that we've reviewed how work incentives like 1619B can help individuals maintain Medicaid coverage while working, we're going to move on to another important tool that supports financial stability. Okay, we're going to move on and we'll discuss more ABLE accounts, which allow individuals with disabilities to save money without affecting their SSI or Medicaid eligibility. As long as program rules are met. ABLE accounts provide an option for individuals who want to work, save, and plan for the future while continuing to maintain their benefits. All right, so ABLE accounts are special savings accounts for individuals with disabilities who meet eligibility requirements. They are designed to help individuals save money without causing them to exceed the resource limit for certain benefits. And money saved in an ABLE account is not counted toward the SSI resource limit, which allows individuals to build savings while maintaining their benefit eligibility. Funds in an ABLE account can be used for qualified disability-related expenses, which provides individuals with more flexibility and the ability to save and plan for their future. And then one important thing to remember is that ABLE accounts are a helpful tool that do allow individuals to save money while protecting their access to SSI and Medicaid benefits. Okay, ABLE accounts help individuals with disabilities and their families save for disability-related expenses without putting their important benefits at risk. Funds in an ABLE account can grow through a tax-free investment earnings when they are used for qualified disability expenses. These savings usually do not affect eligibility for programs like SSI, Medicaid, or other federal benefits when the program rules are followed. Again, a key point is when the program rules are followed. And it's also important to remember that ABLE accounts, they are providing individuals with a way to build savings, increase financial independence, and as well as plan for long-term financial stability. Okay, so just a little bit of history of the New York ABLE program. The ABLE program was created through the Federal ABLE Act of 2014. And this allowed states to establish savings programs for individuals with disabilities. New York passed their own ABLE legislation in December of 2015, and the New York ABLE program officially launched in 2017. And since then, the program has continued to grow and support individuals with disabilities across the state. As recently as January 31st of 2025, there were more than 3,700 active New York ABLE accounts with approximately $43 million invested. Also, account holders have been able to withdraw more than $28 million to pay for qualified disability-related expenses. Okay, and then just lastly on this slide, the important thing to remember is that the New York ABLE accounts are a growing resource that helps individuals with disabilities save, manage, and plan for their future. Okay, some eligibility requirements. To qualify for an ABLE account, an individual must be a U.S. citizen or resident alien and have a disability that began before the age of 46, which the age of 46 is newer, as I believe until the recent months it used to be the age of 26. Also, eligibility requirements, the individual must meet one of the several eligibility requirements, and this may include receiving SSI or SSDI due to a disability, may be considered blind under the Social Security Act, or have a condition listed on Social Security's compassionate allowances list, or maybe have a written diagnosis from a licensed physician that confirms a medically determinable physical or mental impairment that results in significant functional limitations, and is expected to last at least 1 year or result in death. So a takeaway from this is that it's important to know that ABLE eligibility is designed to support individuals with significant long-term disabilities, while ensuring the program remains available to those who meet the requirements. Okay. So with the New York ABLE accounts, each eligible individual can only have one ABLE account nationwide. Anyone can contribute to an ABLE account. However, the account is owned by the individual with the disability, and that individual is also the account beneficiary. ABLE accounts are different from other saving tools, such as a special needs trust or a 529 college savings account, as these accounts have different rules, ownerships, and purposes. So with the ABLE account, it's important to remember it's owned and controlled for the benefit of the individual with a disability, while still being able to provide flexibility to save and use funds for the qualified expenses. Okay, this slide here, you're just looking at just how a New York ABLE account works. It just shows with the saving tax-free, you can keep your current benefits, you choose your investment option, and you access your savings how you prefer. So again, that's just a picture from an ABLE brochure. Okay, an ABLE account can be opened by the eligible individual or by someone that individual chooses to assist them with opening. And if an individual is not able to open an account on their own, another person may open the account on their behalf. And in order for this person to be able to open the ABLE account on their behalf, it has to follow a specific priority order. And I have listed on the slide, the order would be considered in the first person being power of attorney. If that's not existing, the next one could be a court-appointed conservator or a legal guardian. Next in line would come a spouse, a parent, sibling, or a grandparent. Next under that would be an SSA appointed representative payee. So anyone opening an ABLE account on behalf of another person, they must confirm that they are authorized to do so, and that no one with any higher priority is available or willing to open the account. And then there is the link to the mynyable.org that I have listed here on the slide for more information, as well. That link is going to be in our resource section at the end. Okay, so qualified disability expenses. These are expenses that can be paid for using funds from an ABLE account. These expenses may include costs that occur regularly, such as any kind of monthly expenses, or costs that occur less frequently. And this could even be a one-time purchase. But to qualify as an expense, it must be incurred while the individual is eligible for the ABLE account, relate to the individual's disability, help support the individual's health, independence, or overall quality of life, And it is important that the account holders, they keep any receipts or records of any purchases or fees that were paid with ABLE funds for documentation purposes. And an important thing to remember is that ABLE funds can be used for a wide range of disability-related expenses that support daily living, independence, and quality of life. And if anyone on this WebEx now has, if they're familiar with ABLE accounts or maybe helping one of their customers or their clients with submitting qualified expenses, please go ahead and share. I know there has been times people have been able to get trips approved that on behalf of quality of life. So if anybody wants to share, I'll just give a second. And if not, don't feel like you need to. Just wanted to throw that out there. Okay. Okay, so here's a list of qualified disability expenses. You'll see here they include basic and essential needs, such as housing, healthcare, tools to support employment or education, assistive technology, and personal support services, even expenses like account oversight, monitoring, and funeral costs are all included as qualified disability expenses. So using ABLE funds wisely for these expenses allows individuals to save, plan, and maintain benefits without jeopardizing their SSI or Medicaid. Okay, next we have some non-qualified expenses. So if funds from an ABLE account are used for non-qualified expenses, there may be some financial consequences. The earnings portion of the withdrawal could be treated as taxable income and could be subject to any state and federal income taxes. And there are, in some cases, an additional 10% federal tax penalty that could apply. So it's important to remember that ABLE funds should be used only for qualified disability expenses to avoid any potential tax penalties or other penalties other than taxes. Okay, so contributions and account limits. ABLE accounts allow individuals to save for, again, their disability-related expenses while protecting their eligibility for specific benefits they have. Each ABLE account can receive up to $20,000 per year in contributions. Individuals who are working may be able to contribute additional funds under certain circumstances. However, all total contributions have to remain within the allowed annual limits. And the New York ABLE program has actually one of the highest maximum account balance limits in the country, currently allowing individuals for their accounts to be as high as $5,000. And this program does monitor contributions as a way to help and ensure account holders are within their federal and state requirements. So the important point to remember here is that ABLE accounts provide eligible individuals with a flexible way to be able to save for future needs while at the same time maintaining important benefits. Okay, New York ABLE accounts do have special rules when considering the SSI resource limit. Account balances up to $100,000 are not counted when determining SSI eligibility. Accounts above $100,000 are considered a countable resource. So if an ABLE account balance is higher than $100,000, an individual's SSI cash benefits can be suspended, but not terminated. And once that balance goes under $100,000, the SSI cash benefits can resume as long as all other eligibility requirements are continuing to be met. So the important thing to remember here is that ABLE accounts allow individuals to be able to save a significant amount of money while maintaining their SSI, as long as program rules are being followed. Okay. So New York ABLE accounts offer different options for managing and investing funds, which allows account holders to choose options based on their financial goals and comfort level with risk. The program offers 4 investment portfolio options, and these options range from conservative to aggressive. There is also an FDIC insured savings and checking option. The checking option does not have an asset-based fee, and it does allow individuals easy access to their funds through either a debit card or paper checks. ABLE accounts also have program costs that include a quarterly maintenance fee and an annual asset-based fee. And then this fee does vary depending on the investment option that is selected. So the important takeaway here is that New York ABLE provides flexible ways for individuals to save, invest, and access their funds. Right here, these are just some ABLE investment options. Just questions to ask yourself. What expenses do I want to save for? When will I need the money? And what is my risk tolerance? Okay. The total annual asset-based fee is based on the amount of money in an ABLE account throughout the year. So the fee includes the cost of the investment funds and program management fees. This does not include the quarterly account maintenance fee. So for individuals using the checking option, the monthly service fee can be waived if the account is maintaining a daily average balance of more than $250. Or even this can be waived if the account holder signs up for electronic statements through the ABLE program's financial institution, which is the Fifth Third Bank National Association. So again, that fee can be waived if they do have the electronic statements or are carrying a daily average balance of $250 or more. The important thing to remember is that account costs can vary depending on the options selected and how the ABLE account is managed. Okay. So funds from a 529 college savings account can sometimes be rolled over into New York ABLE account without federal or state tax consequences when it's eligible under the current federal rules. There's also a federal savers credit that may also be available to help individuals save for retirement, and depending on their income and tax situation. These options are based on certain federal rules, as well as time limits. So eligibility and availability may change if laws or regulations are updated. So just for the most current information, individuals should refer to the New York ABLE Programs website, again, which I have listed on this slide. And then the important point to remember is that ABLE accounts may offer additional savings opportunities, but individuals should review current rules and eligibility requirements before making any financial decisions. New York ABLE accounts offer several flexible ways for account owners and contributors to add and access funds. Contributions can be made through a check, payroll deposit, electric fund transfer, any reoccurring contributions, rollovers from another state's ABLE account or a 529 college savings account. Again, that is when it's allowed under current rules. Funds can be accessed through the New York ABLE debit card or checks. Also, funds can be withdrawn by a phone or online withdrawal request. Automatic withdrawals. There's the gift online gifting feature. It's a downloadable paper form for those who prefer to submit requests by mail. Okay, let's see. To open a New York ABLE account, individuals can enroll online or complete a paper application through the New York ABLE website. And then before applying, individuals should make sure they gather basic information such as have name, date of birth, address, social security number, or tax ID number, phone number, and disability category. And then during the application process, individuals will be able to choose how they want their funds to be invested. Investment options are explained on the New York ABLE website and as well as their disclosure booklet. And let me just get my mouse over here. Just one moment. Sorry, it keeps on freezing on this one page. Okay. Okay, so during the application process, individuals, again, will be able to choose how they want their funds to be invested and to begin saving. The minimum initial contribution is $25 or $15 if someone is using a payroll deduction. If an individual is opening an account as an authorized representative, say as a power of attorney, guardian, or even a representative payee, they'll need to provide documentation showing that they are authorized to act on behalf of the account owner. And then there's also the phone number available for any questions or assistance, support. And they have their weekday business hours. They also have interpretation services that are available. So the important takeaway from here is just to remember that opening a New York ABLE account, it is a pretty straightforward process designed to help eligible individuals begin saving while protecting their access to important benefits. Okay, let me just take a moment to pause and see if there's anything anybody wants to add to ABLE accounts before we move on. Let's see. All right. So now that we've discussed New York ABLE accounts and how they help individuals save while maintaining benefits, we're going to move on to another important work incentive. We're going to discuss plans to achieve self-support, or PASS plans. PASS allows individuals to set aside income and resources to help achieve specific work goals without affecting SSI eligibility when approved. And this is another tool that supports individuals with disabilities as they work toward employment, increasing income, and greater financial independence. Okay, so a plan to achieve self-support, or PASS. This is a work incentive that allows individuals to set aside income or resources other than their SSI cash benefits for a specific period of time to help achieve a work goal without affecting their SSI eligibility. And the purpose of a PASS is to help individuals pursue employment goals that may eventually reduce or eliminate their need for SSI or SSDI benefits. So for example, an individual receiving SSDI wages or other income may set aside funds to pay for expenses such as education, vocational training, assistive technology, or even starting a business. The expenses must directly support the approved work goal. And individuals can develop their PASS plan, but the plan must be submitted to and approved by Social Security before it can be used. So the important point to remember here is that PASS plans allow individuals to set aside money for approved employment goals while protecting their SSI eligibility. And let me just get my mouse unfrozen again. Okay. So under an approved PASS plan, SSA may still consider the income that is set aside when calculating the individual's SSI payment amount. However, that same income is excluded when determining initial SSI eligibility and continued SSI eligibility. Resources that are set aside under an approved PASS are also excluded when SSA evaluates the SSI resource limit. So this will allow individuals to save money for approved work-related goals without affecting their SSI eligibility. And it is important to remember that other programs such as housing assistance or SNAP may have their own rules for how PASS excluded income is treated when determining eligibility. And it's advised individuals should always be checking with each program to understand how a PASS may impact their benefits. Overall, PASS plans allow eligible individuals to be able to set aside income or resources to pursue employment goals while helping maintain their SSI eligibility. Okay, a PASS plan can help individuals establish or maintain their SSI eligibility amount. For example, an individual who receives $2,000 per month in SSDI may have too much income to qualify for SSI. However, if that individual meets all other SSI eligibility requirements and has an approved work goal, they may be able to set aside a portion of their SSDI in a PASS plan to pay for any approved work-related expenses. And because the income set aside under an approved PASS is excluded from SSI income calculations, it may reduce the individual's countable income enough for them to be able to establish SSI eligibility or increase maybe the amount of SSI they are receiving. And on the next slide, this is just an example. In this example, Claire, she wants to go to school to become a dental hygienist. Claire is receiving $1,000 a month in SSDI benefits. Claire wants to be able to use part of her SSDI to help pay for school. So she shows SSA that she needs $980 each month for approved expenses such as tuition, books, and school supplies. So in this example, SSA approves her PASS. So Claire is then able to set aside $980 of her SSDI benefit each month for those expenses. And because this money is excluded under the PASS, it does not count when SSA decides whether Claire can get SSI. So in this example, it may help Claire qualify for SSI to help with her living expenses while she uses the PASS funds only for approved school costs. So the key takeaway from this example here with Claire is just to show that a PASS can help a person use SSDI income for an approved work goal and may also help them qualify for SSI. Okay, some requirements for PASS. A PASS must be individualized and completed using the form SSA 545BK, which is available through the Social Security Administration's website. I do have the link here for you on this slide as well if you need it or just to take a look at it. Other requirements. The plan must identify a specific and realistic work goal, along with a time frame for achieving that work goal. It also must explain what income or resources other than SSI are going to be set aside to support the plan, and how those funds will be used to achieve the work goal. Additionally, the PASS must show that the set-aside funds will be kept separate from any other money. And then once submitted, the PASS needs to be reviewed and approved by SSA before it can take effect. SSA does periodically review the plan to ensure the individual is making progress toward their approved work goal. Overall, a PASS is a structured plan that helps individuals invest in either employment goals, invest in their employment goals while protecting their SSI eligibility. Okay, and on the next slide here, this is just showing you a screenshot of the SSA 545 BK form. And this is a pretty lengthy page. If you could see it on the top, I just have a picture of page 1 of 12. So this is a 12-page document to complete for a PASS plan. So it is pretty detailed. Okay. Okay, so individuals do not have to complete a PASS plan on their own. Assistance may be available, say from a vocational counselor, social workers, a benefits specialist, employers, or another qualified professional. SSA does review each PASS proposal to determine whether it meets program requirements. And these SSA professionals can also help individuals develop and document their plan. Within SSA, there are specifically trained employees that are called PASS specialists who review submitted PASS plans. A PASS specialist evaluates whether the individual's work goal is realistic, also whether the requested goods and services are necessary to achieve that goal, and whether the proposed expenses are reasonable. If changes are needed to the PASS plan, SSA may work with the individual to make adjustments so the PASS can be meet requirement approvals to be able to effectively support that individual's employment goal. Okay. Okay, so for more information or assistance with PASS plans, SSA does provide several helpful resources. I have the resources listed up here, including their toll-free number, the website to go to online. There's also another document, which is a PDF that's a pamphlet titled Working While Disabled, How We Can Help. Those resources are available for yourself or to work with customers. Okay, so then I have an example right here. This is an example of how a PASS can help an individual use their income to work toward an employment goal while maintaining their SSI. So this is an example with Mary. Mary's goal is to become a certified nursing assistant, so a CNA. Mary is working part-time and she earns $665 per month. SSA applies the earned income exclusion to determine how much of Mary's income counts against her SSI benefit. So first, the $20 general income exclusion is applied. Then the $65 earned income exclusion is applied. That remaining amount is divided by 2, resulting in the $290 of countable income. Again, let me just get my mouse that's hidden so I can move. Okay, hold on just one second. I'm sorry. I don't know why. Oops. I'm sorry, just one more moment, please. I don't know why it gets stuck and then won't. Okay, let me try to see as much as I can of it. So still continuing with this example with Mary, without a PASS, Mary's countable income would reduce her SSI payments by $290 per month. If Mary receives the full SSI federal benefit rate of 1081, her SSI payment would be reduced to 791. And Mary, because she has an approved pass, it allows her to set aside that $290 for education expenses related to her work goal. So the income set aside under the pass is excluded from the SSI calculation. And then during the pass time frame, Mary receives the full 1081 SSI payment and has $290 available for approved pass expenses. Okay. All right. So this slide right here is just some examples of things that our pass plans could cover. Let's see. We have childcare, vehicle, a computer, starting a business, school expenses, any equipment and tools, transportation, uniforms, other items or services needed to reach an employment goal. And then pass plans, they give individuals the ability to save and set money aside so they can achieve their work goals without losing their benefits. But one important thing is not to forget that a pass plan does need to be approved by SSA first before using. Okay. So a pass is not guaranteed to just continue indefinitely. SSA monitors each approved pass to ensure the individual is following the plan and making progress toward the approved work goal. A pass plan may be suspended if the individual abandons the plan or does not follow the approved pass requirements, or if the individual is unable to participate because of a medical condition. A pass may be terminated, meaning the plan is ended, if the individual no longer is eligible for SSI, if the pass has been suspended for 12 consecutive months without being resumed, or if the individual successfully achieves the approved vocational goal. And it's important to remember that suspension is generally temporary and may allow the individual to resume the plan later if it's appropriate. And then again, termination, when the plan is terminated, that means the pass has ended and it's no longer in effect. Okay. So now that we've reviewed some key work incentives and savings programs available through Social Security and New York State, I'm just going to wrap up by looking at some additional resources. These next few slides of the resources, I'm not going to obviously go over every one, but in your own time, if you want to take a look at them, as they do provide some helpful tools, contact information, and websites that individuals can go to find more detailed information and support as they're exploring employment options and benefits planning strategies. These resources, I think, can really help individuals and benefits advisors or other professionals continue to learn and access assistance when needed. Okay, so these are just some resources on this page for employment and benefits planning. There is Medicaid buy-in program for working people with disabilities. The toolkit is there again. The Medicaid helpline, I have the local Department of Social Services, and then there's resources for Social Security Work Incentives Program right there, where you can find SSA, the 1619B program, and as well I have benefits planning assistance that has Social Security Administration number. I also have listed the statewide technical assistance line, and then a link to contact the independent living center in your area. Okay, next we have just, I mentioned it and put the link in a couple of the slides, but again, this is right here at the end if you want to look at it in just one spot. My nyable.org, pass online. I've also included the Job Seekers Guide for Employment that is on the NYESS website. I've also included the SSA Red Book, as well as the link for what's new in 2026. And let's see, I also have just some Social Security resources, Ticket to Work, the certified benefits counselors locations by just looking at the NYESS locations on our website. I have included the NYESS YouTube channel that has all the recorded trainings. Social Security POMS is on here. SSA Red Book. And then I've included my email and office line. If anyone has any questions, you can contact me at any point. Okay, so